And welcome into To Your Health. You know, recently I was with some friends who were in the hospital, and one of the nurses was talking about a dilemma in her life. Her husband has Alzheimer's, and she was saying that they don't live right in Montgomery. They live actually in Lee County. And we talked about, is there any organization there that can help and give her aid? And she said she knew of nothing. Today there is good news. And my guest is Daphne Johnston. And Daphne, you are the executive director of the Respite Ministry.
The Respite.
Respite Ministry.
That's right.
At First United Methodist Church.
Correct.
And of course, that word we just kind of had fun with those. What does that word actually mean?
To take a break.
Okay.
To take a rest.
Good.
And at the beginning of the ministry 3 years ago, we thought to take a break for the caregiver to be able to, not have just their person that they're caring for 24/7,
Right.
just to take a break. But we also found the Alzheimer's person needed a break from the caregiver.
Ah,
so
interesting.
It's hard when you've got 24/7 care,
Mm-hmm.
and we wanted to supply an outlet for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we have found that not only does it serve the participant with memory loss or the caregiver, but it also serves the volunteers too. So
Isn't that great?
It's a neat
Well,
thing.
how did your organization get started? And you're at First United Methodist Church, but this is just you're kind of like the foundation for our growth that's going to happen with this.
That's right. Dr. Bryan contacted me. I was a assisted living administrator here in
Okay.
Montgomery for close to 12 years. And he saw a vision that we needed a program, a day program for people with Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, any kind of memory loss.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me the task to try to build a plan to see what we could do. And I found a lady in Atlanta, Georgia that had a congregational ministry, and it was just all run off of volunteers.
Wow.
So I went up there and I spent a couple of days with her and came back with the plan. And I told Dr. Bryan about it, and he was supportive. We invited the #1 Alzheimer's doctor in the Southeast from UAB, Dr. Geldmacher, and Dr. Standard, the #1 Parkinson's doctor, on a Wednesday night. And do you know 350 people showed up that
Well,
night?
of course.
Just all
Yeah.
over the community. And I think the church just saw a need to really start something. So we started 2 days a week. And actually what we do from 10 in the morning to 2 o'clock, we pack it with music from kids, chorus singing, art, hand-eye coordination games. We wear them out.
Good.
We want to stimulate them so much because so often we found they're at home watching TV.
Absolutely.
There's not a lot you can do anymore. So we want to just pack it.
Okay. How can our viewers be involved with what you're doing?
They can, #1, we can take donations.
Absolutely.
It costs $30 a day to come to Respite. No one has ever been turned away. We think
Because they don't
we
have the
think of
money.
that as
Right.
$7 an hour, but I've had so many great donors to sponsor scholarships. And I want to bring up that the Church of the Ascension
Yes.
and St. John's Episcopal and Temple Beth Or have all given scholarship money for the whole community.
Great.
I mean, money is not the issue.
So while you're at First United Methodist Church, you're open to the entire community.
We are, and I think that's the model that's so exciting. I had a lady that told me at the very beginning, she raised her hand in the first group I spoke to, and she said, I just see one problem with this ministry. And I said, what's that? And she said, it's just bigger than our church. And it is.
Yes.
And we have volunteers from 8 different churches and Temple Beth Or.
Wow.
There's a model in Tuscaloosa where they have got a new $3 million Alzheimer's building. Mal Moore's wife had Alzheimer's.
Yes.
And he helped raise a lot of money. However, they have 18 local congregations giving to that center.
Wow.
And hopefully one day we'll have something like that. But it's off to a great start with a lot of churches.
Well, that's why I say at the onset, you are the foundation. Well, we want to thank you, of course, and we want to thank First United Methodist. And if they need information or need to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
They can call me at the church office at
Okay.
834-8990
Okay.
And just ask for Daphne.
Okay, you can do that, or if you can't remember any of that, call me at 277-5000 in my office. If you have the problem, I'll make sure that you get hooked up with Daphne, and we want to make sure that everyone is served. That's the name of the game.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for what you do, and just remember this. It can be tough on those that have the disease. More importantly, it's tough on those that are taking care of the people that are diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So make sure that you know that there's something out there to give everyone help. And we'll be right back right after this.